Erika Brown of the Cricket. It looks like it's just me and you today, Erika.
I love it. Although I can't wait for Heather. I love it. I love the three of us. That's our thing. And we're going to
Yeah,
go out for drinks together at the, where? Are we going to go to the Crow's Nest?
who knows where we're gonna? We might go everywhere today.
I think, well, if we,
You never know.
I told you I'm going to be walking in with a sign around my neck and it's going to say, "Hi, I'm from Manchester."
And I'll duck behind the first table available. Yeah.
That's an icebreaker if there ever was one.
Well, actually, for the first time, I get to say Heather is away on assignment right now.
I love it.
Which means she'll probably hop in about 2 minutes because we have a date later. So, all right. So let's start off with something fun that we got to work on together a little bit. A cool collaboration, and it is the house that Booth built.
I thought that was, Corey, honestly, with your timeline series that you do for 1623, and then we partner with you and we do a print version of it essentially, which is really beautiful, and you do it especially for us. It was I think it was my favorite one that you've done so far for us. And it was
Really
the
cool
Booth Brothers and the Masconomo House, which was a grand hotel in Manchester, 103 rooms, correct?
Yeah,
Right on.
they then expanded off of that eventually. But yeah, it was really cool to go down those rabbit holes and research this because I didn't know about Edwin Booth specifically. Like that guy was Marlon Brando before Barrymore or Brando, And then
Yes.
John Wilkes was kind of like James Dean, you know?
I mean, I've heard that the Booth family, I'd heard it, but your piece really brought it out, which was that the Booth family was the thespian family of America. They were stars in the biggest way possible, and it all came because of the father, Junius, and who was, you said it so beautifully. I loved your use of the word mountainous. I love that. He
Mhm.
was big man, big personality, full of mania, full of alcoholism, full of genius, and extremely eccentric. And it seems like that went through the whole family. And of course, it's not just thespians, it's also John Wilkes Booth, who assassinated the president of the United States at the time. He was assassinated in the middle of the Civil War. He assassinated Abraham Lincoln. And then what I found most interesting, I've always found this interesting, 12 years after that incredible injury to our country and the Booth family name just, recoiling, they open up, or Junius Jr. opens up a hotel that becomes incredibly successful and very big in Manchester by the Sea.
Right. And his second wife, Agnes, at that point, was a big part of the hotel's success as well. And she ended up managing it successfully for years after June's death. To me, the most fascinating thing was Lincoln was such a fan of the Booth family that he kept putting requests out and would see plays with John Wilkes and with Edwin separately. And it was people close to the president who also knew John Wilkes' political proclivities, and they would not relay any message requests to him. So it was really eerie because there's a poster in there where Booth is at the Ford's Theater performing less than a month before the assassination.
Yeah, no, and I thought that was so fascinating. I didn't know that story about that anecdote about how Lincoln apparently asked for both Edwin and John Wilkes to meet with them, and they never passed it along to John Wilkes because they knew he was, an extremist on the Southern side. And then the rest of the family sided with the North and moved north from Maryland. Very, very interesting story. What a read, what imagery. It was just really fantastic. I loved
Thank you.
it.
Well, whenever the Cricket and especially Manchester Historical Museum, when they sign off on a piece of new from Manchester, then that's success here. It was really cool to do, and we got to work with Christy King did the drone footage you see at the end, and a lot of comments that I got personally was how people love to see how the original Booth Cottage is still part of the private residence that stands today.
Yeah, and it's just, and I think it was a cottage that had like a billiard, there was billiards in it or something like that. But yes, it's still standing. It's a fraction, it's a shadow of the former hotel, of course. It's so small compared to how vast and grand it was. I still can't get over how grand all the hotels were. And there were many, many of them throughout Cape Ann. Cape Ann really had this sort of golden age for a while of hotels. Right, Magnolia, as you know,
Those late 1800s.
I love that.
I
And
mean,
yeah, and there were extensive like streetcar networks around Gloucester that would get people from train stations to hotels.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
really cool stuff. So I'm really looking forward to the next story. We're taking a break now because we have election coverage for the next month. And then
Yeah.
we'll get back to that series. So yeah, check out the cricket, folks, if you can. Let's stick with the theater, Erika. You saw a play recently?
Well, I went to the Gloucester Stage Company. They just opened up last week with Think of Me Tuesday. And I loved it. Do you know anything about Think of Me Tuesday?
I know that the Gloucester City Charter is brought up a couple of moments because Heather Atwood and I are actually working on some of the minutia in the Gloucester Charter right now in preparation for election night.
All right, well, this is timely, but it's local and best of all, it's funny.
Yeah.
So this is a locally produced, like I wasn't familiar with is it Ken Rief? Yes, Ken Rief. I wasn't familiar with him. He's the playwright. He's based in Gloucester. He's also an attorney. He's also an artist. So he's very prolific. And I think he's partners with Henry Farini, I think. Don't they do stuff together? And anyway, and I do know Henry. So in any case, this is one of his plays. It's about Buddy Chum, who is this sort of almost John Kennedy O'Toole, like Don Quixote type character who's always running unsuccessfully for mayor of Fishtown. Cue the music. But anyway, his name is Buddy Chum. He basically rails against progress. His big thing is stem the tide, and he's running again. The only thing he hates more than change and outsiders is the sitting mayor, who is a woman whose name is Selma Town and he hates her because she was born in Fishtown, left, and then came back with fancy ideas of progress.
Oh, you can't do that. No, no, no.
And one of the big issues is, of course, they want to redevelop this kind of smelly fish processing harbor front, and they want to build a shopping mall.
Yeah.
Anyway, listen, it ends up having a couple of twists, and it's a great little fun show. I really recommend it. I think Heather went there too that night, but I got there late, and so I wasn't able to see her. I'm almost positive she was there. I wish she was here so we could talk about it. But I really recommend it. You should go and see it. It's awesome.
That's cool. Do you know how long it's running for?
Probably running for another 2 weeks.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
We'll check that out. Okay, so another great thing that's been going on in our neighborhood the last year or so has been scarecrows popping up.
Yeah, well, in Essex,
Yeah.
that's for sure. It started in 2020, so just a couple of years ago. Don Burnham and the COA. It's actually the Friends of the Council on Aging, and it's a benefit for the Council on Aging. And so what they do is they give you these scarecrow kits and you personalize them and make them up. Now it's a really fun thing to just basically drive through Essex and see them. I think there are almost 90 of them.
Yeah, I've seen a bunch. Yeah.
They are awesome. They're very creative people. One of them that I didn't get a picture of has a scarecrow hanging onto a boat, literally being blown in midair. It's like awesome. It's really fun and nice, and it just reminds you of it's unique, and it reminds you of like that it's awesome to drive through Essex.
Yeah, it's great seeing people's creativity as you go from place to place. It's really cool too. Okay, so Erika, we have something serious to discuss, right? Looking forward to next week in regards to the cell phone tower.
Yeah, the cell phone tower, I think it's called Tower North Corporation, has been, it's all the red signs in Essex. They wanted they've actually been going through the process of getting approved for a site to put up a cell phone tower off Southern Avenue. Actually, yes. And so it's going to, it will have concluded, I believe, and we'll talk about it next week, with a little context. But yes, that actually is happening. The ZBA awarded them a variance, I believe it was. And so that was the beginning of this. It looks like the cell phone tower is making its way through. And so we're going to talk about it next week.
Interesting. Okay, great stuff as always, Erika. Folks, get the cricket while you can. Hot off the press is an amazing story this week too. Just check it out. So thanks for your time.
Bye.